This is my author spotlight episode featuring me. So let me take you all on a little journey. So I do more than just like run up on celebrities and interview them and do vlogs and run up on all these, and do these adventures with rappers and all that stuff. So, because I'm so used to like interviewing other artists and asking them what they're doing, that sometimes I put my own stuff to the side. Well, so it's every now and then it's okay to promote your stuff because I have accomplished some things myself. I wrote my first book about, oh God, about 10 years ago. And what started the journey for me writing was I got laid off from a job. Going on all these different temp assignments inspired me to write my first book. If you don't know, I have published 10 books. Let's count it, 10. So I've published 10 books. So I figure I'm just going to go each week, I'm going to just focus on one of my books. So this is actually my very first book. This book is called The Temp Assignment. To me, it is a book of fiction. It is about a married couple. Trust me, it has nothing to do with me. These characters are not related to me in any way. They're just all a figment of my imagination. Yes, I do have an imagination. I do. I really, really do. When I first started writing this book, I had no idea what I was doing. I just got a notepad and pen and started writing this story, and it took on a life of its own. And the wife are both biracial. The husband, Ernesto, he's interesting. I would have to say Ernesto is probably one of my favorite characters that I've written because he just has so many layers and he has so many identity issues, and he's interesting. But you got to read the book to find out more about him. And then we have the wife, Natalie, and she's biracial. She's very ambiguous looking. Both of them are very ambiguous looking. But anyways, they're married for 10 years. Have a great marriage. They're in this marriage, and she gets laid off from her job. When she gets laid off from her job, with people spending a lot of time together where they hadn't had time to spend time together, people started noticing little things in their relationships. So as you know, a lot of people got divorced around that time. A lot of people started questioning their relationships, their jobs, things like that. So it's kind of like the same scenario. The story is interesting because there's a lot of different types of characters in this book. You have some wealthy white men in this book. You have some well-to-do Black people in this book. You got a little bit of infidelity going on. People questioning whether they want children, if they want children, if they don't want children. There's a lot going on in this book, but I would have to say this is it's always probably going to be my favorite book because this is my first one, and I don't think you ever forget your first. You never forget your first. So this is my first baby. I remember when I got this book and I ordered it and it finally got published. I was like, oh my God. When I held it in my hand, I was like, I can't believe I did this. This is crazy. So this is The Temp Assignment. You can find this on Barnes and Noble. One of my favorite books because this story, you think you know where it's going, but you really don't. And it's really interesting. Sometimes I sit back and I'll read my books back again, and I'll just be like, whoa, like what was I thinking? Like, how did I create these people out of thin air to do all these crazy things that I personally in my personal life would never do. Like I would never conduct myself in the manner that some of these people are conducting themselves. But obviously no judgment because I gotta write them, so I can't judge them, right? But half the things that these people are doing, I'm like, are you serious? This story is definitely mature audience that have been out in the workforce for a little while. For some of my more mature people that have been married or been in long-term relationships and they're trying to figure stuff out and things like that. For the most part, it's just a human story about being in a marriage and the things that go on in the marriage, issues and traumas that people don't heal from, that they think they've healed from. Because of this particular book, it started me on a journey to my talk show. It started me on a journey to doing red carpet interviews with celebrities. So how that journey started was I actually was having a book signing at the Dudley Branch Library. So I'm having this book signing, and there's a lot going on. And this man walks up to me, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I said, "Well, I'm having a book signing." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm so like all over the place because there's a lot going on. It's my first book signing, and I'm just kind of like. He said, "Well, I need to have you on my show." And I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, he takes my phone number, don't think nothing of it. Long story short, shout out to Henry Parker, because Henry Parker, he actually interviewed me for this book, The Temp Assignment, on his show, Henry Parker Presents. And then what happened from there was he loved what I was doing. He loved I guess my personality on camera, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you interview this artist for me? That I have coming on my show. You can interview the artist and just host the show." And I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I don't even know how to host a show. I don't even know what's happening here. You know what? You did really good at that. How about I just give you your own show? So he gave me my own show out of Scat TV in Somerville, and it was called Cordelia's Passion. You can still look it up on YouTube. We had a good 3-year run, me and Henry Parker. So Henry Parker, shout out to you, because he was the man that literally started the journey from taking me from books to all this other stuff. So through this book, The Temp Assignment, it opened the door for me to start my journey into other things. It opened so many different avenues for me. So I'll never forget the journey with this particular book, because it opened me to everything else. And yeah, so you can still actually, if you look on YouTube, you can still catch the old episode of Cordelia's Passion. It just opened a whole nother world, but it all started with me writing. And I would say my advice to other writers or people who want to write, I would say, and don't be afraid. I would always say, take fear out of the equation. Because you have to. And I would also say too, because people always say, what advice would you give other writers, or what advice would you just give other artists in general? And my advice would always be, honestly, where I am now, I would say, don't share your dreams with everybody. I know that sounds like really harsh to say or whatever, but I would say don't share your dreams with everybody. Because honestly, believe it or not everybody wants to see you doing well. You know what I mean? They just don't. And I hate to say that, but unfortunately, it's true. So I would say, if you have all these big hopes and dreams for your life, tell people that you know are going to have your best interests at heart, that you know you can trust, that you know love you, like genuinely love you, authentically. But other than that, I would say always accomplish your goals in private. Um, I would say never lose your hunger. Always be hungry. I don't care if you're 15 or if you're 80. Always be hungry. Always be like striving for the next thing. Um, and just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your God-given crazy. That's my new favorite phrase. Believe in your God-given crazy, and just follow your dreams, man. And don't listen to anybody. Just block them out. Block them out and just go and do what you got to do. You're in this body. You're in this body for however long it's going to be. It's your journey. It can't be like any stuff a lot. And I was like, when people say like imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I'm like, that is not flattering, because if you're imitating someone else, then you're not being your authentic self. So who are you? Because I'm dope. You know what I mean? So when you're like, oh, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I'm like, who does it flatter? Who are you? So if you're not being authentic, running around imitating someone else, like, you get lost in the mix. So I would say, just be authentically you, be authentic to your dreams, be authentic to your gifts, be authentic to your craft, be authentic to your image, be authentic to what you like to wear, how you like to wear your hair, what you like to do. Be authentic to your swagger. And that's it. Because you can tell when people are imitating other people's thing, and it looks weird. And so now I'll just read you a little bit of the temp assignment. And I haven't read in a while. I haven't had a book sign in a while. I think I need to do that. If you all want to have me to have a book signing, leave it in the description in the comment section. Let me know what you do. You want to have me have a book signing, and also let me know if you want me to do more of these author spotlights, or maybe not, because I'm still going to do them anyway. I'm still going to do them anyway. A little reading, a little sample of the temp assignment. And so okay, so I just want to give you a backdrop. So where we're at now, the character Natalie, she just came back on a business trip. Just came back from a business trip. Her and her husband Ernesto have been fighting about whether they should or shouldn't have a child. And she goes on a business trip, and she gets into a little bit of a situation. So now she's back in Boston, and this is where we're at. When we touched down in Boston, we all went to the baggage claim. Charles stood beside me and whispered, "Are you going to be all right?" "I don't know," I answered, stroking his back. "You have all my information. If you need anything, call me," he said, rubbing the small of my back. "I just want to make sure you can always reach me no matter what, Natalie." "Thank you so much for understanding," I said. I was sad that this was it. It was like the weekend that never happened. We all got our belongings, and Charles got into his car. Clyde got into his town car with Lana. I waited for Ernesto to pick me up. "You look relaxed," Ernesto said sarcastically. "I am. Thanks for noticing," I shot back. "I'm tired and jet lagged. Can you please put on Jill Scott CD for the ride home, please? I just want to enjoy a nice, quiet ride home. We will talk later. We have a lot to discuss." I reclined in the seat, closed my eyes, and pictured myself on a beach. It was the only way I could keep from ripping his throat open. He looked at me as if for some reason I might know something. He did not want to take the chance to find out, so he did what I said, put in the CD, and we drove off. This was rare for him nowadays. Seems like he wanted the last word on everything. In the car, it literally felt like the calm before the storm. We could feel each other's energies. I went upstairs to unpack. When we arrived, Ernesto followed me. "You left your wedding ring," he said, standing in the doorway. "I noticed," I said, cutting him short. "I paid enough for it. Don't you think you should wear it?" He started to raise his tone. "You tell me, Ernesto. Do you think I should be wearing it?" The fire in my head made me feel like I was going to explode. Don't push me. Don't push it right now, Ernesto. You have some nerve. Don't push me. Please go downstairs and let me unpack, please. I can't stand the sight of you. Just leave me alone," I screamed and started crying. I must have freaked him out because he turned around and walked downstairs. He knew I knew. He probably was trying to figure out how, but he knew I knew. He just didn't want to confront it at that moment. He saw the hurt and upset. The hurt and upset that I was in. He looked like a wounded dog that lost a fight. I was so drained, I took a nap. I didn't get up until 8 o'clock that night. When I came downstairs, it smelled like beer and cigarettes. Ernesto was sitting on the couch smoking. He doesn't even smoke. Who is this person? Who's that girl from Roxbury? And please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan. Shout out to Ninth God. Shout out to all the artists out there who just go crazy for their dreams or crazy what they believe in. But shoot, man, sometimes, man, being an artist is exhausting, especially if you're doing it right. You'll be exhausted. I'm like, dang. But honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. If I had to do this all over again, I would do it all over again. I am having an amazing time. And to all my artists out there, just keep doing your thing. Keep following your crazy. Keep following your dreams. Keep doing you. And block out the haters. Block out the negativity. And just keep going. And I'll catch you all next time.